Hello, welcome back to I Create For You. We're doing another spooky Yellowstone story. And this one is called Sasquatch. Lamar Valley is the area. The ranger grinned at Bill as they saddled their horses. He had invited his childhood best friend to take an informal day trip with him into the backcountry of Lamar Valley, sometimes called the Serengeti of North America. Bill was as excited as a little boy at the thought of riding horseback through Yellowstone. Maybe we'll see a grizzly bear, Bill enthused as he tightened the cinch. I am not sure you want to encounter a grizzly bear while riding a horse, the ranger said dryly. True, Bill said, looking crestfallen, but he cheered up immediately as they mounted their horses and headed down the trail. Bill was like a little kid when it came to big animals. He still got excited whenever he was caught in a bison traffic jam, pulling out his camera to get photographs of the big bulls wandering lazily down the center of the road. As the two friends headed along the Lamar River Trail, the ranger pointed to a grouse that fluttered underneath a bush as they rode across a wide meadow filled with tall golden brown grass, sagebrush, and a few trees. Bill kept his eyes open and his mouth shut, searching avidly for wildlife as the warm sun beat down on the two friends, and summer breezes swirled across their faces, bringing the scent of sage into their nostrils. Bill was triumphant when he was the first to spot pronghorn grazing in the valley. The ranger didn't mention that his moment of inattention was due to the fact that he was studying the grizzly bear tracks and several days-old scat on the trail in the front of them. A bear had crossed here a couple days ago, the ranger decided. The lower part of the trail was wide and meandered close to the park road. Bill saw enough bison to satisfy even his wildlife enthusiasm, and the ranger scanned the herd with an experienced eye, noting that one of the bulls was limping. The wolves would be catching that one. Then they moved to the upper section of the trail, heading deep into the wilderness. This part of the trail was rather marshy in places, and the ranger kept an eye on Bill, who was not a good horseman. He spotted a badger and pointed it out to his friend Bill, who had never seen a badger before. He was so excited he nearly toppled off his mount. The ranger suppressed a grin and cheerfully held the reins so Bill could take a picture with his camera. Bill coped quite well in the steeper sections of the trail as they moved deeper into the backcountry. There was a patrol station at the far end of the trail, which stood high in the Absaroka Mountains. But the ranger wasn't thinking about the patrol station. He was gazing down at a set of huge footprints in the trail in front of them. The prints weren't grizzly or black bear. They looked like the huge feet of a giant gorilla or a giant man, the back of his mind whispered to him. But that was impossible. There were no wild gorillas native to Yellowstone, or native to anywhere in the United States, for that matter, unless one had escaped from a zoo. The ranger's horse walked through the tracks as he dithered in his mind about their source, obliterating them before he could stop for a closer look. The ranger cursed himself for his indecision and inefficiency. Now he would never know what it was he'd seen. The men stopped for lunch up at the top of their backcountry loop near a patrol station. Sandwiches and trail mix went well with the fresh air and lovely scenery. Bill perched on a fallen log and wolfed down his food while Ranger kept an eye on the horses, communing together at the pine where he tied them. They saw a large male elk on the afternoon leg of their journey, to Bill's great delight, and the ranger saw more of the huge man-shaped footprints. This time he dismounted to have a better look. He measured the bare footprint. It was 20 inches long, with the toes curled under slightly and the arch pressed down into the dirt. The ball of the foot was disproportionately wide, unlike that of a human male. The ranger slid off his own boot to check his foot. The ranger slid off his own boot to check his foot. Yes, the ball of his foot was proportionate to the rest of it, but the one in this print was not. "What are you doing?" called Bill from his horse. "Do you have a stone in your shoe?" The ranger shook his head and motioned for silence. He pulled out his pocket camera and took a few photos of the prints. Then he slid his boot back on and mounted again. He didn't know what had made these prints, and he wasn't sure he wanted to know. Perhaps it was a joke of some kind. Perhaps it was a Sasquatch, whispered an irritating voice in his mind that refused to be silent. As they continued along the trail, the ranger tried to calculate the mass of something that had just such a large, heavy footprint. 1/2 a ton? More? He gulped. They were still 3 miles from the trailhead when Bill gave an excited yip and pointed. "Grizzly bear, over by that tree. It's standing on its hind legs," he gasped, trying to keep his voice soft so he wouldn't alarm horses or bear. The ranger looked in the direction Bill was pointing and halted his horse, squinting in disbelief. "Bill," he said, "that's not a grizzly." The creature was 9 feet tall, covered in long brown-black hair. It had a large, squashed-in face similar to that of a gorilla. The huge hair-covered body had a barrel chest that was at least 72 inches in circumference, and his arms were extraordinarily long. The creature's huge feet seemed to match the 20-inch proportions that the ranger had measured farther up the trail. The beast had to weigh about 900 pounds, the ranger reckoned. The wind blew the scent of musk and garbage over them. Both horses were staring over at the creature, ears pricked in curiosity. "They aren't afraid of the beast," the ranger noted in surprise. The creature, on the other hand, was regarding horses and riders with alarm, tensing every muscle of its huge body. "What is it, then?" whispered Bill from behind him. "Sasquatch," the ranger said reluctantly, just as the huge creature bolted from underneath the tree and galloped away through the golden-brown prairie, grass, and sagebrush. When its trajectory brought it within range, the Sasquatch grabbed a handful of pebbles and threw them at the men as if trying to discourage them from following. The ranger kept a tight rein on his horse as pebbles cascaded to the ground several yards away. He had no intention of following the creature, which dodged behind a large sage, ducked around a tree, and then disappeared into the forest. "Oh my gosh," Bill gasped. "Did we just see Bigfoot? Did we?" "Absolutely not," the ranger said firmly, watching the swaying foliage settle into stillness as the black-brown figure vanished into the woods. "There is no such thing as Bigfoot, remember?" He turned in his saddle to look at his friend. Their eyes met, and a silent understanding passed between them. "That was one heck of a grizzly," Bill said dryly. The ranger nodded in approval. "Yes, it was," he said, turning back to the trail. They'd almost reached the trailhead when Bill said, "Is it all right if I tell my wife about the grizzly we just saw?" "Can she keep a secret?" the ranger asked doubtfully. "Heck yeah, she's married to me, remember?" Bill said cheerfully. "True," said the ranger, and gave reluctant permission. When the ranger got home that night, he uploaded the pictures he'd taken onto his computer and gazed at the huge footprints. Sasquatch. Who would believe it? People saw the darndest things in Yellowstone, and some of them, like today's sighting, were best left off the record. He hit Save As command and put the pictures into a special folder on his hard drive called Amazing Things I've Seen. This picture definitely qualified. Whew. That would have been something to see not far away. Ooh, this is such a good piece of paper. So I guess we're drawing Bigfoot tonight. Let me see which one I want to do. This one looks like a kind of a good one, so I shall. Let me see if I need to get you guys down further. Sorry, I'm shaking. There we go. Yeah, we'll do a big squatch here. So I'll do this. Make him a little taller. Do his face. Yes. I don't mind drawing Sasquatch. Done that before. Give it a good drawing here. Hopefully it's not too bad looking. Let's see here. Let's see, do that. And we'll go up and around for his mouth. His eyeballs. Okay, let's get this mouth done here. I'm just going to try to do it the best that I can here. I don't know if he has teeth like this. Let's just hope not. But he probably does. He's a big guy. So I'm just going to give him upside down vampire teeth. Alright. Okay, here comes his hairdo. Really easy to draw him, actually. Yep, definitely not a hard creature to try to draw. Let's see now. We'll give him this nice big beard coming down from his face here. Let's see what we can come up with. He might be funny looking, I don't know. Let me see if you guys are still in. Yep, you guys are still in. Okay, we got that much done. Now let's try to get these big old shoulders. Sorry if I'm shaking you. Alright, let's see here. Oh, this one's going up a little bit here. I'm not too happy with that, with the arms right now, so hold on a minute. Okay, let's try this body. I'm taking a different approach. I can't imagine ever really seeing one of these guys. I don't know what I'd do. I probably would freeze, poop my pants. Not sure in which order that would come, but probably do both of those, mostly. I just hope that I might run into a friendly one that wasn't having a bad day, more or less. The funny fingers. Okay, let's try this. Get this the rest of his body in here. And I know it's going to be hairy out the outside there. Get this one. Get this arm going. Let's see. We can get the thumb going here. This one might look a little bit better than the other one did. Oh, he looked like his finger was broke. Yeah, that one looks a lot better. There, they look a little bit better now. Look a little bit like what hands should look like. And he's going to have big muscular legs. And of course, those big, let's see if I got these. There we go. These big feet. I'm running out of paper here, people. He's so big. Get his hair going here. I'm guessing that their feet are probably really calloused. Always being barefoot. Have to be. Yeah, at least I would think so because of its surroundings and being up in the mountains and just walking on anything. It would have to have very much so calloused feet. I know, he's a funny looking Bigfoot. At least his face is somewhat okay, but his body is a little bit funky. Got in here a little late tonight. Haven't been feeling the best, so. And then I was like, oh shoot, I lose track of my days anymore. And I was like, oh crap, it's Friday. And everybody else is, oh thank God it's Friday. And there, my friends, is our Bigfoot. There's somebody you'd like to meet in a dark alley, right? Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming along and sticking through my little Bigfoot sketch. Little Bigfoot. Ugh. Sorry about what wording. Anywho. Thank you a lot for coming along, and subscribe if you haven't. Give me a thumbs up if you think you liked what you saw, and comment. Tell me if you have any Bigfoot adventures or thoughts. And, of course, if you do subscribe, I may see you in my next video, hopefully. And please check out my shorts also. I have encouraging shorts. That sounds so wrong, doesn't it? Oh, no, wait. There was one thing I wanted to show you because I had that other story that I told you, I remembered that I owe you a picture reveal that I'll flip this over so you can see it. This is the negative that my grandfather took of Sitting Bull. It's glass, but this is the actual picture of Sitting Bull that my grandfather took. I remembered that, and I had it out, and I was like, oh, I gotta remember to show you guys. So, thanks so much for stopping by again, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye for now.